this is Tom Spry, and here with another episode of Restaurant Bytes. I'm joined by my co-host.
Hey guys, Jacqueline Farmer with Harri. Excited to be back with you guys for another episode, and super excited to introduce Mimi Somerman today. So Mimi is a senior marketing executive who started her career at PepsiCo, but has since crossed industries between restaurants, healthcare, and retail. And Mimi, excited to have you on the show and excited to learn from some of your perspectives and experiences today.
I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to talking to you.
So Mimi, can you share with me what you have found to be some of the challenges to accepting somebody who has pivoted from a different vertical or industry into a particular role?
You know, I think rather than thinking of it as a challenge, I like to think of it as an opportunity. And so really the opportunity, and I've experienced it when hiring, and I've experienced it when I've been hired, right? In that process of getting the role. It's the openness to fresh thinking and helping the company that you want to talk to see that the skills that they're looking for are a perfect match, and what they're looking for with the company fit and their value set is such a perfect match that wouldn't it be awesome for them to get fresh thinking? And by getting that fresh thinking, they now can think beyond the way they've been thinking and elevate their results.
You can't do the same thing and then expect different results.
That's exactly right.
So Mimi, I've known you for more years than I care to admit. And in that time, your career pivots have always amazed me because I've wondered what your thought process was during the various choices that have helped elevate you during the course of your career. Can you share some of that thought with me?
Sure, Tom. So, you know, there's a couple of threads that have occurred as I pivoted. And the first thing is really that skill set transcends industry. And so when there were opportunities in other industries, it really wasn't about the industry. It was the skills they were looking for that were a good match with my experience and my strengths. And so when I look at the various pivots, there's a couple of specific skills that were especially beneficial for those companies.
What were some of the specific skills that served you really well as you switched industries?
The most common threads were brand expertise and strategic skills. So strategy, the ability to really see the big picture and drill down, understanding that brand essence and the brand positioning, often developing a brand position with a company that didn't know what that was or how to do it. So bringing that skill set in to help unfold the brand and communicate it. But the core of it was understanding brand and strategy and being able to communicate it to real people.
What are some of the initiatives you take on in the first 3, 6, or 9 months to really familiarize yourself with that industry? And what would you recommend to others as ways that have been successful in doing so?
So the first thing I do, it's a consistent playbook I have, is I spend time with people that are my executive team. I spend time with my staff and other more junior folks in the organization. I spend time in the field and learn the business. So if the field was restaurants, visiting restaurants all around the country, if it was healthcare, it was going and visiting the various locations where surgery was done. In retail, it was visiting the stores. In tourism, it was spending time in various markets. It was really understanding and then taking all that learning. And when it was restaurants, of course, franchisees and corporate operators, right? And taking that information to then identify what's the SWOT for our business, what's our situation competitively, and where are we from a positioning perspective, and where is our opportunity to really shine? Where is our opportunity to deliver to our consumers or our customers, depending on whether I'm dealing with an end consumer or I'm dealing with a franchisee or what have you. Take all that, develop that brand positioning, then I check it. I go back out to people and say, does this make sense? And when they say, well, of course it does, duh, I know that we got it right.
So Mimi, digital is a big part of everything that we're doing today. Can you share with me about your last gig on how you were able to implement digital into a very slow to change organization?
So moving an organization into digital was challenging, right? Because this is an organization that was very traditional. They were very oriented around direct mail and radio and traditional marketing. And so I had a parallel path. So what I did was I continued with the traditional marketing and began the A/B testing in digital. upgraded things like their email system, got them involved in Facebook advertising. But the A/B testing and sharing the learning is what got people excited. This was an organization that is credit-based. So it's a subprime lender that helps people get jewelry for celebrating various things that happen in life, birthdays, anniversaries. So that was really exciting to be a part of those lives, but we needed to generate leads. So I developed a lead gen program, online, digital, that really got people excited.
Mimi, I would say one of my biggest concerns as I progress through my career is not staying up to date on the recent trends. So how you sell changes with digital, how you prospect, how you reach out to customers. It sounds like you've done a really good job of staying up to date with all the recent trends as you've progressed through your career. What are some really successful ways you found in doing that?
Well, I think networking is one of the most important things to do, and staying in touch with people I've known, sometimes for a really long time, sometimes for not so long, right? And talking about what their challenges are and what they're facing and looking for best practices. So another thing I do is I look for best practices in some really strong players out there and benchmark those best practices and bring them to the organization that I'm working for and that I'm helping to move forward and to get the results that we've said we need to achieve and that we've committed to our board, and ultimately representing the voice of the consumer. But benchmarking is key. I think it's something about industries being open to people outside of industry, because what you get is fresh thinking, and that is hugely helpful. There's a lot of industries that stay with industry and they get the same thinking, and then they wonder why they're getting the same results. Now, we don't have to get to the negative side of it,
No,
but I think it's the openness to fresh thinking.
positive approach to it.
Mimi, tell me a little bit more about the lead generation initiative that you took up. It sounds like that was pretty successful for you.
It was extremely successful once I did the A/B testing and got people really excited about it. In terms of the results, it was purely based on digital advertising. So it was a digital play, 100%. It was a whole new initiative for the company, and the investment grew over several years. The ROI on it was about 8 to 9x. At the best times, it was 10x. So it was incredibly successful in terms of the revenue generated and multiples of return on the investment that we were investing in the advertising specifically. So I was able to measure where people came in, where I was touching them, and their conversion through the entire funnel. So I could say, here's our ROI on the spend. And that got people so excited. So then we spent more on it.
So Mimi, most people don't think outside their current industrial vertical. If I've worked in restaurants, I think that I can only work in chain restaurants. If I've worked in tech, I can only work in tech. You've had the good fortune of crossing over so many different industries. Can you share with me a little bit about your mindset to make that type of choice?
That's a great question, Tom. When I think back on the various changes, and as I become more nimble, if you will, at pivoting, I think it is a nimbleness. It really is about me having an open mind and recognizing that what really matters is fit, skill set, and the ability to contribute and make a difference, and recognizing the interest and the excitement that was there for me.
Mimi, I want to thank you so much for coming on today with us. It's been such a joy to learn a little bit about what you've done and how other organizations can, if they have an open mindset, be surprised at the talent pool that's available to them.
Mimi, it was great having you on the show today, and thank you for sharing your perspectives with some of our listeners.
Enjoyed talking to both of you, Tom and Jacqueline. Thank you.